Is your ego getting in the way of you making your dreams a reality and living your best life? Well, stick with me in this video and I will help you through it. Hello, my beautiful people. Thanks so much for stopping by my channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Goretti and I am the counselor and transformational coach at Butterfly Project. So this is something that has been coming up a lot with my clients lately, and probably especially too because I have a lot of new clients right now. And if you've worked with me before or if you've been watching my videos, I talk a lot about the subconscious mind. And the subconscious mind basically is kind of like our memory bank. It is where we stored everything from our first 6 to 10 years of life. And the ego is the part of the brain, okay? So when I say ego, I'm not talking about when people talk about being egotistical. However, that is where this kind of stems from. Okay, so stick with me. The ego is the part of the brain that is there for our survival. Okay, so the ego was created so that we can survive in the wild back from the beginning of time. We don't need it much in the same way, and the ego will use whatever it possibly can from your subconscious mind, okay, to be able to protect you, to keep you safe, and to keep you away from danger. And one of the things that it uses the most is fear, okay, and doubt. But most people don't know this. The ego can only use what's in your subconscious mind. It can't use anything from somebody else's or from outside of you. So basically, whatever experiences that you have had, whatever you have been programmed with in your first 6 to 10 years of life, okay, so think back to that time, that's what you got. I like to call it the program, okay, just makes it easier to understand, kind of like a computer program. That's what got installed into your memory bank, okay, and that will run 95% of your life. So most people think that they're making conscious choices, but they're actually not. 95% of your life is run by the little you. Okay, so think about that, like 6-year-old you. And that's what's, making all the decisions for you. And you don't even realize it. And only 5% of your life, or around there, is something that you are, deciding consciously, right? So this is more like the meals that you eat, what you're going to wear today, those kinds of things. But most of and even those decisions a lot of times can be affected by the subconscious mind, okay, or run by it. So here's the thing. The ego comes in to protect us, right? The way the ego stops us from living our best life, from fulfilling our dreams. And actually, this is really big because right now I'm working with a lot of couples actually. And it is something that I'm really kind of enjoying and, becoming passionate about is relationships. And this is coming up a lot. So our ego gets in the way. And it affects our relationships, not just intimate relationships, friendships, children, all our relationships. However, the ego is most triggered in our most intimate relationships. Why? Because, think about this, the subconscious mind, if it's the child you that is, what the subconscious mind was created from, right, for 6 to 10 years, you are the most vulnerable as a child. And so those deepest core beliefs that are in your subconscious mind, those deepest core wounds, the traumas, the pain, the hurt, the wounds that you have, from childhood, all of those, beliefs, and most are, or a lot are limiting beliefs from your childhood, saying that you're not good enough, you're not worthy, you're not important, you don't matter, you're not special, right? You're not capable, you're not smart, all of those things, and the list goes on, right? Everybody's going to have different ones. And there are some core ones, like I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, I'm not deserving, I'm not accepted, okay? Those are usually really core ones for a lot of people. And it comes from different things. You don't even have to have major trauma, right? Like I didn't have a lot of trauma in, my childhood, but one of the things for me, and it was deeply ingrained, was by having parents that were really busy working and trying to, put a roof over our head and take care of all the kids and, provide as best as possible. I had parents that were kind of, just there, and they weren't really emotionally tapped in with me. And because of that, as a child, you look at that and you think, what's wrong with me, right? I must not be good enough. I have to do better. I need to do things to be loved. I need to perform to be loved. I need to, please people. I need to help, to be able to be loved, those kinds of things, right? And so we see this in adulthood. That's just one example. But so if you guys don't think that I also have work to do or that I've done the work, believe me, I only teach this because I have walked through this and I have done the work myself, okay? And still doing the work on some deeper issues. But the ego, from the childhood, your subconscious mind, sorry, not the ego, the subconscious mind. This is what provides the content for the ego to use. So when you are, let's say, in a situation, we'll talk about relationships. So that's the best example, right? And it can happen in anything, right? This could be with food or money or health or whatever. But in relationships, for example, when something happens, right? Let's say your partner, wants to, or tells you something, right? And if that little you, okay, the subconscious mind, if there's something in there that triggers or that gets triggered, okay, based on what that person, your partner, said, okay, or did, maybe behaved, your ego will go into your subconscious mind and pull that like file out and use that to protect you. And what it does is it will create fear. And the ego will automatically, because it's about survival, the ego, right, creates the fear. Your body and mind then go into survival mode. It now, unfortunately, will kind of block out, any kind of decision-making abilities when we go into fight or flight mode. And what happens is you react, okay? And all that's happening is it's a defense mechanism. You're reacting out of a defense mechanism, okay? Until you have calmed down your nervous system, okay? And if you haven't seen my videos that I talk about this, the box breathing method, so it's, remember the number 4. So taking deep breath in for a count of 4, hold that for a count of 4, let that out for a count of 4, and do that 4 times. And do that, it takes about 2 minutes. Do as many rounds as you need to regulate your nervous system. This is why when couples get heated, and sometimes it doesn't take much, it could be an instant trigger, okay? If you have a lot of trauma, PTSD, cptsd, in your childhood, what happens is, unfortunately, you can get triggered very quickly. Like the ego takes literally like a second to pull that, file from the past, to bring up that fear, and you instantly react, okay? It's subconscious, the reaction. It's subconscious. You're not even aware that you're doing it most of the time. It's a reaction. It's a reflex, okay? For survival mode, your ego will use that. So if this is happening in your life, right? You want to calm your nervous system down. Don't deal with the situation in that moment, okay? That's why, if you're heated, or if you've reacted, or your partner has, or, whoever you're dealing with, or even just you in general, you want to be able to calm yourself down first to get out of survival mode. And then your prefrontal cortex part of your brain, your decision-making ability part of your brain, opens up, and then you are allowed to think rationally and, be able to make logical kind of, decisions and actions, and have that behavior based on, logic and reason, right? Reasoning. But unfortunately, when we're reactive, that defense mechanism, whatever it is, right? Everybody's going to be different. That reaction happens, and then you're not able to use the prefrontal cortex part of your brain. You are stuck in survival mode. Literally any conversations, anything that happens in that moment until you've calmed down, or the other person, is not going to be beneficial, okay? But just so that you know, the reactions that you have, the defense mechanism, that defense mechanism happens based on what is in your subconscious mind, right? So as a child, when you got scared, right? When the ego came in with fear, whenever anything happened that created, fear within you, the trauma, the, whatever it was, okay? What did you do to be able to kind of manage that, right? Some children would run away, some would hide, some would have angry outbursts, right? Some would just completely shut down. Some would cry. Some would try to, beg or ask, or talk or ask for love, ask for forgiveness, whatever it was, like trying to make things better. Every child is different in how they handle things based on so many different, variables. Okay. And I won't go into it in this video, but if this is happening for you, where you are, you have these defense mechanisms where you're reacting, and it doesn't even matter what they are. And there's all these labels out there of like anxious, attached, avoidant, fearful, avoidant, all these kinds of things, narcissistic, like the list goes on and on and on and on and on. It doesn't really matter what the label is. At the end of the day, this is the core issue. It's your ego. Your ego trying to protect you and keep you safe. Your ego says, this is not safe. Okay, so I'll give you an example, because this is a big one in relationships. That if you were in a situation growing up where things were not safe and you didn't see healthy relationships, and because this comes up a lot in sessions, and it seems to be like more and more so lately. But if you, didn't see healthy relationships, if there was a lot of chaos and drama, and, there could have been addictions in the home, there could have been, a lot of violence and things like that. Even just, aggression, or just like name calling, and like, just very, very toxic environment or behavior. A lot of neglect, could be bad, ways of dealing in relationships, okay? Because don't forget, your parents also were programmed by their parents. So your parents were running on their program, and it was subconscious, meaning they weren't even aware of it, right? And today we have a lot more knowledge and access to this information and help, like counseling and getting educated through videos and books and all these different things. The internet, like just a vast, ability of knowledge, right? So if you've had those experiences as a child, right? And then in relationships with others, and this could be, like I said, friendships with children, with your parents, with, whatever, with, intimate partners. Sorry guys, my camera completely shut down. I don't know why, but anyway, so I'm just gonna piece this together. So as I was saying, if you have had that happen in your childhood, let's say, for instance, then what you are being programmed with is that love is not safe. Relationships are not safe. Okay. And this is where people might actually not, know how to handle healthy relationships, or know how to handle when somebody is showing them love and affection, and, maybe healthy ways of loving, right? And so what can happen is somebody, can do things like self-sabotage, or they can run away, or maybe they might react however it was that you reacted as a child. That's your defense mechanism, okay? So like I said, when you're feeling like love is not safe, you're not even processing this information consciously. Your ego will use that. So let's say that's the story, because that's like the easiest example, and it seems to be quite common these days. But let's say love is not safe for you. And so somebody is trying to love you, right? Your ego comes in, warning, 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 right? Based on your childhood experiences, and says, hey, love's not safe. Even though this person is really, a good person, and they're just wanting to love you, you cannot accept that love if you feel like it's not safe. Okay, so that's just one example. There are so many other examples. I don't have the time to go into it right now. I'll probably dive a little bit deeper, with this kind of topic going forward. But the whole point was that whatever is happening in your ego or in your subconscious mind, right? Whatever's in there, your ego for survival is going to try to protect you, to keep you safe. But remember, the ego is not, is conditional the right word? It doesn't have a bias, okay? Your ego doesn't know the difference between right and wrong, good and bad. It doesn't. It only knows what's in your subconscious mind, okay? So love is a beautiful, wonderful thing. Love is safe. But if you've had a subconscious mind that got programmed with love is not safe, guess what? When love shows up in your life, your ego says, it's not safe. So I need to protect you. Push that person away, run away, right? Sabotage it by, I don't know, reacting badly, not reciprocating, like whatever it is. Okay, there's so many different ways. That's, again, just one example. But your ego will come in and say no. It could be about money, right? Like I said, apply this to whatever it is, whatever area in your life you're having trouble with. So, or you notice patterns in your life. And what'll happen is your ego will also create these patterns in your life, right? So notice, what's the pattern in your life? Do you struggle with money? Do you have health issues? Do you have a lot of like extra weight on your body? Do you have trouble with relationships, intimate relationships? Maybe it's friendships, right? Are you always the underdog, the scapegoat, whatever? Like, it's any area of your life is affected by this. The ego will try to protect you based on what's in your subconscious mind. Okay, so how do we fix this, right? We need to reprogram the subconscious mind, all right? We need to take out the beliefs that are in there and program with new beliefs, all right? So this is the work that I do with all of my clients. It's called subconscious mind reprogramming. It is the thing that I've become pretty much an expert at. I absolutely love doing this work with all of my clients. It is, a simple process. It's not difficult. Does it take time? Does it take effort? Does it take consistency? Yeah, it's like anything. If you want to change your diet or your lifestyle or your health or whatever it is, it's going to take work and effort. Anything that is worth, having in your life, of course, is going to take work and effort. All right. So that's what I do with my clients. And if you would like to work with me, my information is in the description box below. I am working on something behind the scenes in regards to this, because it's kind of, I'm only one person and I do a really great job at helping people reprogram their subconscious minds. And so, yeah, I will probably announce this, soon going forward. But again, like I said, it's something that I really love doing, and you can have your dreams. You can have a better life. You can have the best life. But if you don't change what's in the subconscious mind, your ego is always going to be there for survival. It's always going to use that. Unfortunately, it's not going to make a difference, right? In your life, by you, whatever it is that you're trying, if you don't change the subconscious mind, if you don't change the program, it doesn't matter what you input. The program's going to run the same way. So, whatever area of life this is in, it is in your subconscious mind. That is where the key lies. We need to change that. All right? So, I want to encourage you to do the work. Maybe do some research on this. Whatever it is, contact me if you would like help. My information is always in the description box below. And don't forget that, you're worth it. You're worth doing this work. But nothing's going to change if nothing changes. If you don't do something different, nothing's going to change. Take a look at your life. What's the pattern? Right? That's what's happening. All right, my loves. Thanks so much for being here with me today. Really appreciate it. And don't forget to do all the things like this video, comment down below, share my channel and video with others. I truly appreciate it. If you're new here, welcome. I would love for you to subscribe and be part of this ever-growing butterfly community. And also don't forget to hit the bell icon so you get notified of new videos. And as always, you guys, I wish you all peace, love, and light. Till next time. Bye-bye.